Partnered by Time's Influence.
They say that real beauty in a woman is reflected in her soul, and nothing personifies this better than a diamond. Pure, rigid, and full of character, a diamond is a true reflection of a woman.
What makes beauty really ring true is something that's very authentic and real and true to the individual.
Our diamonds are real, they're rare, they're natural, and we feel that these qualities are also so true of Indian women today.
In a glittering ceremony themed Beauty with Integrity, Rio Tinto's Australian Diamonds program launched its latest campaign in India, supporting a new range of affordable bridal and fashion jewellery ethically sourced from the company's Argyle diamond mine in Australia.
Let's start with a little story of a woman who lives in the country, and she really wanted an Argyle diamond, and so she saved her money and she travelled 6 hours and a number of bus changes to get to the city, and she bought herself a 5-point Argyle diamond. And recently she undertook the same journey again to buy a second Argyle diamond to mark another moment in her life. And I really like this story because it's not about anything extravagant, it's about making a moment and making meaning in your life, which is something that our diamonds have the power to do. And it's something that people want more and more in their lives, in everything that they're doing, be it their clothing, where does it come from, be it their coffee cups. There is a real consumer demand now to know the origin and the ethics of everything in their lives. Fortunately, we've been doing this for over 30 years, and we couldn't have done it without our partners here in India. Provenance is part of our DNA, it runs in our veins, it's about everything that we do. And we've really pioneered this chain of custody story, working with our select demonteurs and our jewellery partners throughout the value chain.
Please welcome Mr. Raj.
The highlight of the event was the introduction of the captain of Indian women's cricket, Mithali Raj, as the official ambassador for the new campaign.
I believe that today you need to be real, you need to be yourself, irrespective of all that one goes through in life. So I think that is something that I relate with the brand. The real you, the authenticity, the originality.
At the heart of Rio Tinto's Australian Diamonds program is provenance, the journey from the mine to the market.
Provenance, where a diamond comes from, a responsible and caring supply chain, an ethical supply chain, is really the DNA of Rio Tinto Diamonds, and the Australian Diamond Program is our tracking program for diamonds from the Argyle mine in Western Australia. And it's an enormous achievement to be able to track these very small diamonds all the way from the mine through to the polishing, into the jewellery and into a customer's hands with an authenticity statement that what they're buying is a natural and authentic diamond.
As a company, Rio Tinto believes in maintaining utmost transparency and best practices in conducting business while supplying world-class rough and uncut diamonds to its retailers.
If you buy a piece of art, a painting, an art, it's all down to provenance. Value is down to provenance without actually proving the origin, where that art came from, there is no value. Yes, and I've said this many times before, even the second-hand car dealer knows how to leverage provenance to his advantage. And we've seen this all over India. When you have this ad in the local paper saying, carefully owned and driven by one Parsi owner. Yes, clearly provenance adds value, and it's down to us actually to see how that applies to our businesses.
Rio Tinto owns and operates the Argyle diamond mine in the remote East Kimberley region of Western Australia. The mine has been operating since 1983 and has produced more than 800 million carats of rough diamonds. It is the world's largest supplier of natural colored diamonds and world's only supplier of rare pink diamonds.
Many of us have been to the mine. We've seen just how large it is. It is one of the largest mines in the world. It's certainly produced by far the most diamonds that any mine has ever produced. 800 million carats of diamonds and counting is huge. You've all seen that. But I think also what you've seen is the expertise that is required, the precision and the passion that is required to bring these diamonds to market, to be able to mine in those conditions, to actually have 40 kilometers of tunnel under the ground, going down 1 kilometer under the surface of the ground, to have huge crushers installed under the ground. We've seen, this is actually a technological marvel. It takes great expertise, precision, passion, and it's the same expertise, precision, and passion that we as Rio Tinto bring to our sales and marketing initiatives as well.
With the aspirations of the young, independent woman at heart, the company's latest campaign was unveiled amidst some of the country's best-known jewellery retailers.
We sincerely believed that the Australian Diamond campaign needed to be different, one that appeals to a woman who's in charge of her own destiny, one who has her own identity and who makes her own choices, including romance and relationships. And actually, this insight was based on extensive research. Today's woman is in charge of her life, her destiny, and her money. And all this really needs to be celebrated more. And we believe that the real you deserves a real diamond that is as full of character as you. The Australian diamond are as real and as natural as you. So, without further ado, I'm going to unveil the campaign. And our campaign message is, as real as you, rare and natural, presenting the Australian Diamond Collection.
So really, the As Real As You campaign is actually strongly based on market research that we conducted towards the end of last year. The women we spoke to were more empowered. They had more control over their destiny. They had more control over their futures. And more importantly, they had more control over their finances. With this learning, really the traditional way of actually appealing and addressing to women, we felt had to be differentiated. We had to change that. And this is what actually led us to the campaign, which we felt resonated very well with our stories of provenance.
So this is a really great undertaking. We have a small army of people working on this to deliver this into the Indian market, but it also means that Indian women can buy their jewellery with the assurance that it's a natural and authentic diamond. So it's a really exciting campaign for us to launch.
Central to Rio Tinto's Australian Diamonds initiative in India is a leading-edge tracking system for monitoring the movement of Rio Tinto's rough Australian diamonds from its Argyle mine through to finished jewellery, also known as the chain of custody.
And in fact, Rio Tinto, we are actually able to demonstrate a chain of custody system because we segregate our rough productions. We have Argyle mine in Australia, we've got a mine in Canada, Diavik, but these two productions are segregated. And so we're actually able to give proof of provenance. The other assurance that is conveyed through chain of custody is that the diamonds and the jewelry have been responsibly sourced. They are mined from mines that are owned and operated by Rio Tinto, and we have processes in place in all of the entities that are manufacturing our diamonds, whether it's cutting and polishing or jewelry, to ensure that certain responsible sourcing requirements and standards in areas like human rights and health and safety are being met as well.
Rio Tinto also recognizes the importance of ethical sourcing of its raw materials, which is key to its Australian Diamonds program.
The supply chain comprises 491 manufacturing units, and a total of 1,143 audits were conducted in 2017. So this is really a vast enterprise. It's something we don't really talk about. You know, we're always looking at how are we marketing these diamonds, but we don't actually look beyond that to see how are we actually able to convey this assurance to consumers. It's not an easy task, and you need commitment, you need expertise, and you really need to know how and where your diamonds are being cut and polished. With 491 units, we're actually saying that we have covered our entire mine production through this initiative.
Mithali Raj embodies the real spirit of the 21st century Indian woman, a trailblazer who dares to stand shoulder to shoulder in a male-dominated sport. Keeping with the sentiment, Rio Tinto recognized the real woman in Mithali Raj and chose to associate with the swashbuckling batswoman with the aim of popularizing diamonds in fashion and bridal jewelry among young women.
I'm delighted to be part of this campaign, As Real As You. I think I completely relate to this tagline because this campaign highlights the qualities of diamond, like uniqueness, natural beauty, and it is more importantly for today's real women, and I'm one of them, because today's real women have to also go through real challenges, pressures, real struggles, and their stories are compelling and overwhelming. Even my journey is something like that. It's never been easy to take up sport, especially cricket in our country, which for a long time was a male-dominant sport. I started cricket in 1992 as a 9-year-old, and I remember my first impression was this camp filled with all boys. I was the only girl, and fast forward to today, I see camps filled equally with young girls. I think that's a big achievement as far as women's cricket is concerned. It's come a long way, and in 90s, as a women cricketer, I have to struggle a lot for the basic infrastructure which is needed for a young cricketer. Like, there was not much of an organized domestic circuit. We were, as international cricketer back then, I had to travel by unreserved in train, and there were times when I have to struggle for training sessions on decent grounds. I've played matches in parks because as women cricketer we weren't access to all those facilities which the men enjoyed. Partly because I believe we as women cricketers were under Women's Cricket Association of India, and we came under BCCI's umbrella in 2007. So since then, a lot of changes have happened. I think there is a professional setup now, a professional outlook to the team. Once when we traveled just with with manager and coach, today we travel with a support staff of 5 or 6, where we have a trainer, we have a physio, and we have access to the National Cricket Academy, the Excellence Academy, where the men and women train together. I think that's a kind of a revolution for us as women cricketer over the years that we've seen these changes. And the biggest challenge that I have ever faced was the perception about our society, people, how they initially did not approve women or a young girl play cricket. But today I see a lot of mothers coming up to me saying that they want their daughter to play cricket. And the kind of knowledge that they even sit down and watch women's cricket is overwhelming. And I think it's a good time, and changes have happened for better for women's cricket. And I'm sure it will improve from now on, because with central contract, with the kind of response that we have got after we came back from the World Cup, has been immense. And I only think that the women cricketers now, the current generation, is very lucky to get the kind of platform they have. I'm very happy and thrilled to be associated with Rio Tinto and the Australian Diamond Campaign, because one is it's known for its credibility and the authenticity, and secondly because India and Australia. I think that also goes way back. And I'm very excited about the campaign, because I have, as an ambassador of sport, I've done a lot of campaigns, and I believe truly that originality and the realness of a person has to be there in today's world. And this is what it represents. Thank you very much again for having me.
Thank you so much, Mithali. Mithali, before you go, I'm sure a couple of people, more than a couple of people here, would like to know, at least I would, for sure, you know, your first memory of why you wanted to be a cricketer, and when was that? You said you started off when you were 9, that's training, but when do you first remember that you said, this is it and this is what I want to do?
I think I started cricket mainly because of my dad. Probably he couldn't, he dreamt of playing for India, and he never really made it to that level, and he wanted his daughter to do that for him. I turned professional immediately after a year that I took up sport. I started as a hobby, as a summer vacation, when both my parents were working, so they wanted their children to be occupied during the summer vacation. So cricket was one of the sport that I took up. And since there was a lot of option for women then, unlike the men, the competition is so immense. So women, we did have trials for the state teams. Unlike the men, where you get to play those selection matches, because of the kind of number of girls that we had was so less that they had to conduct trials. So I turned professional in the year 94, 95. That's when I started to play for my state. And it's been a gradual process, playing for state and India A, and then into the Indian team.
Okay. Now, you are definitely a true diamond as far as India is concerned. I mean, representing our country made us proud all of these years. Now, when you wear Australian diamonds, I want to know how you're feeling. You're looking fabulous in them, for sure.
Well, I think women have this big smile when they wear diamonds.
Absolutely.
And I think diamond personifies purity, and it's an eternity of love. So, when you wear diamonds, I think that is what it reflects. And when you're associated with a brand like this, where, there is authenticity, and when you, the source, like as a woman, if I'm investing money into buying a diamond for myself, I should know from where it's coming. It is rightful, because if I'm investing so much money, I should be knowing.
Yes.
And when I recently I bought a diamond for my mother when I toured South Africa. So obviously I didn't have much idea what to look into, and I was briefed. And even the provenance certificate is so important. To know from where it is coming and how good it is. So these are the things that one should know when they're buying a diamond.
Yes.
And this campaign also highlights how it is being tracked from the mines
all the way up to the consumer.
all the way. And it's so important in today's world.
We'd now like Josephine to present Mr. Huber with a book called Barramundi Dreaming. Let me tell you a little bit about why this book, and Mithali will get the very same book from Vikram. Barramundi Dreaming is, barramundi are the colorful species of fish that are found in the area where our diamonds are mined from. According to local folklore, They say, you know, over the years and over the centuries, the scales of these beautiful fish and their various colors are responsible for the colors of these diamonds. That's according to local folklore, and that's why the book Barramundi Dreaming is being presented to both Mithali and Mr. Tony Huber. A big hand for them.
When it comes to cutting and polishing its diamonds, India is a one-stop shop for Rio Tinto's diamonds, an association that goes back several decades.
Well, India is the largest manufacturing or cutting and polishing base in the world. In fact, India plays a very important role in the diamond industry. May not be known by many people, but 13 out of every 14 diamonds are cut and polished in India. In fact, all our Australian diamonds are cut and polished in India, and the majority of Rio Tinto diamonds, whether they come from Australia or Canada, are cut and polished in India.
We've had a very deep partnership with India for many, many years at all levels of the industry, and it's really exciting now to be able to launch this latest campaign with Chakri uncut diamonds as authenticated certified natural diamonds, which is a first for the Indian market and particularly unique to the Indian market.
While Rio Tinto relies on India's skilled workforce to harness its diamonds' real beauty, retailers find the relationship mutually beneficial thanks to Australian Diamonds Consumer Assurance Program.
When you go to a retail shop and you look at a jewelry, you sometimes you're not sure what exactly you're buying or what is the history of the jewelry. So through their program, they're enabling the retailers as well as the salesperson to tell the consumers that, ma'am, this diamond is coming from Australia. This is how it has traveled. This is how it is manufactured. And then whatever you're getting is something really real.
Another factor that works in favor of this relationship are the training programs organized by Rio Tinto that help retailers bring in efficiencies in processes, increase customer satisfaction, and grow their business with integrity.
This training program, where it's an online training program, and all the issues that we face as retailers to make sure our employees are well staffed and well groomed and well trained, they can be addressed. We can track, monitor. I think selling experience for the consumer will surely improve with this.
True to Rio Tinto's commitment, retailers at the event got an opportunity to learn from some of the brightest minds in the retail business.
Diamond, she probably has them already.
Every diamond has a story to tell, and no one understands this better than Rio Tinto, the pioneers in mining and metals who are leading the world towards ethical sourcing and setting new benchmarks in provenance.
As Rio Tinto, we've personally invested in ensuring that the units that cut and polish our diamonds have responsible sourcing and responsible manufacturing standards within them, and we are actually personally going and intervening and ensuring that we are educating and upgrading manufacturing standards in the cutting industry.
Diamonds represent a journey of their own, 1.6 billion years old, but they also represent something that, like nothing else on earth, can mark a special moment in someone's life, so they're pretty magical.